At the height of my Hearthstone obsession, I remember being incredibly intrigued when one of the community's stars, Andre Reynad Yanuk, went out to forge his own path and make a brand new deck-building strategy game called The Bazaar. I recall watching Reynad's Twitch streams as he tooled with the design and explained his vision, where instead of collecting cards, players would have access to all available tools via the shops of a fantasy marketplace, keeping everyone on an even playing field while allowing for a wide range of viable strategies. It was an awesome idea brimming with potential, and I was really looking forward to playing it. That was in 2018. Developing games is an incredibly difficult endeavor, something Reynad's organization Tempo, formerly Tempo Storm, learned the hard way as their timelines were plagued with delay after delay, further worsened by COVID. To be honest, I had completely forgotten about the Bazaar. At some point, I just assumed this was another project started with the best of intentions, but ultimately doomed to fail. Fast forward to this week, when I get a message from a friend including a referral code for access to the Bazaar's closed beta. All of a sudden, all the curiosity and excitement I had back in 2018 came flooding back as I hurried to install the game and see what Reynad and Tempo had been cooking up all these years. And let me tell you, it's quite fun. I even think this has the potential to be a surprise phenomenon, if it can stay out of its own way. The Bazaar is a sort of craft-your-own adventure strategy game where you select a hero, purchase items and weapons from various shopkeepers, and acquire prestige by defeating other heroes. It certainly has the feel of a roguelike deck builder. You are buying and selling cards after all, but I don't think that's the most accurate depiction. And clearly Tempo agrees, as all their marketing materials refer to the Bazaar as a hero builder, whatever that means. Anyways, each run consists of a series of days, with each day containing several events that allow you to acquire new weapons and abilities in an effort to refine your strategy for the showdowns against other heroes that conclude each day. These duels play out automatically. Think Teamfight Tactics or Hearthstone's Battlegrounds. A loss reduces your prestige points, which must stay above 0 to keep a run going, but a win will net you a trophy, moving you closer to better and better rewards. This all happens asynchronously from other players. There are no lobbies or time limits. Instead, you make decisions at your own pace before battling a recreation of another user's hero when they were at the same point in their run. If this sounds like a lot, that's because it is. The Bazaar combines ideas from so many different games. The presentation of Hearthstone, the synergistic deck building of Slay the Spire, the asynchronous multiplayer of Super Auto Pets, and auto-battling combat that borrows from several titles, but oddly feels most similar to another recent release, Backpack Battles. It's quite the smorgasbord, and I initially feared the combination of all these mechanics would be overwhelming and difficult to learn. Thankfully, I found the Bazaar surprisingly approachable. The card designs are interesting, both visually and mechanically. There are all sorts of cool and complex interactions and tantalizing synergies, yet each card's concise text was easy to understand and never left me questioning what their effects were. There are a lot of keywords: damage, poison, burn, shield, haste, but they're all straightforward and behave exactly as I expected. Even in my first attempt, I was able to create a few powerful synergies that didn't require any special knowledge beyond what was presented in-game. The automated battles can be quite complex, but smart animations convey important information like cooldown timers and status effects that make it shockingly easy to understand what's happening and evaluate if my strategy is working. In each run, you'll be making decision after decision that will impact your chances of success. This could feel daunting, but the Bazaar limits your options to usually 3 at each decision point, making these impactful moments digestible enough that I never felt the crushing choice paralysis that often plagues these types of games. It helps that gameplay is asynchronous. I love Hearthstone Battlegrounds, but I often find the turn timer constraining and stressful, not to mention how difficult it can be to set aside the 30 to 45 minutes required to complete a full game. Asynchronous multiplayer removes these barriers completely, allowing me to set my own pace and start, pause, and resume runs however it fits into my day. While currently limited to PC, this will make an excellent phone game down the road. I can already envision myself starting a run while drinking my morning coffee, sneaking in a few rounds during the day, and finishing it after my son has gone to bed for the night. While easy to learn, I get the impression that the Bazaar will be quite difficult to master. While I was able to make do with limited information, my runs definitely would have benefited from knowing all the cards and skills I could potentially find. This would have allowed me to work towards a more cohesive strategy, fishing for key cards rather than cobbling together a passable but far from optimal build. This is great though. Acquiring game knowledge and discovering new synergies are my favorite parts, and it seems like there's plenty of depth and complexity to satisfy my hardcore strategy tendencies. This will only continue to expand, as Tempo has promised to regularly release balance updates and new heroes, each with their own unique cards and playstyles. Especially knowing Reynad's background in Hearthstone, it's clear that Blizzard inspired several aspects of the Bazaar, especially in its presentation. It's bright, vibrant, and makes the personality of the world and its heroes the focal point. The opening cutscene could easily be part of an Overwatch series. The game board seems plucked straight out of Hearthstone, complete with interactable doodads in each corner. Hell, even the launcher has a Battle.net vibe to it. The card art is fantastic, often characterizing weapons and giving them funny names like Chris Army Knife and Pet Rock. These finer details go a long way toward making me feel I was the hero adventuring through this wacky fantasy bazaar. So, the Bazaar is a ton of fun, it's approachable yet deep, it looks amazing, it's bound to be a surefire hit, right? Well, I'm not so sure. There are a few things that give me pause. I've encountered a lot, and I mean a lot, of bugs. My runs were hampered by soft locks, connection issues, missing text, and cards and skills not behaving as expected. Now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. It's still early in beta, and there's plenty of time to clean these issues up before the full release. But I fear my other, far larger concern will be a permanent fixture of the Bazaar: its free-to-play monetization structure. Currently, there are 3 heroes available, 1 free and 2 that require spending gems. Full price, these heroes are 2,500 gems, which equates to $25. Thankfully, right now your first purchased hero is 80% off, and your second 40% off, but there's no guarantee that'll be the case for full release. $25 seems too high, especially if they plan to release a new hero every few months. It's just hard to imagine myself spending over $100 a year to keep up with new content. And while the Bazaar may not technically be pay to win, my experience has been that hero-based games tend to release their newest characters in an overpowered state. It's also clear that there is a plan to sell cosmetics: hero skins, card backs, customizable game boards, etc. While there aren't any available for sale currently, judging by what's being offered as part of the Founders Packs, these cosmetics will likely be over $10 each. It is worth noting that you can use the in-game currency for all of this, which is definitely a plus, but that leads me to my second complaint. There are 2 modes currently available: ranked and normal. In these types of games, I feel like ranked is the definitive way to play. I am a competitive person, and I enjoy climbing the ladder and pushing myself to improve. The Bazaar further adds to this feeling by limiting the treasure chests that contain cosmetic rewards to ranked play. The problem is ranked costs 100 gems. Granted, you are given a free entry daily and can win additional tickets by successfully acquiring 10 trophies in a normal run, but that's easier said than done. What bothers me is that even on a great run, the gems from your rewards are usually not enough for another entry into ranked. You must win 10 trophies every one to go infinite, which seems far more difficult than in similar games like Hearthstone's Arena mode. I can stomach high prices for new heroes and cosmetics. That's just the reality of the current state of gaming, but having to pay to play how I want is a tough pill to swallow. I quit a recent session because I didn't have the resources for a ranked run. If that happens too many times, I'll likely quit for good. Admittedly, none of this is egregious. It's not pay to win, at least not in the worst sense. It only has one type of currency that's easily equatable to a real dollar amount, and I recognize a free-to-play game has to make money somehow. If the game is good enough, I won't mind dropping some money on a few gems for new heroes. And in reality, if someone wants to truly remain free-to-play, they could save gems by only playing their free ranked run each day. But the ranked mode requiring 100 gems without a consistent way to earn that back felt a bit icky. Enough to make me question if this is a game I want to invest time and money into. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit sensitive to free-to-play models. Time will tell if they've hit the right balance between making money and retaining players. The important thing is that the Bazaar is very fun. Every run I've had has felt unique, and the game's current balance appears to support several viable strategies. Its asynchronous design allows me to play when I want, how I want, even if I do have to pay a few gems to do so. There are still some kinks to sort out, and Tempo will have to work diligently to make their live service model work. Still, this game has the potential to be a consistent fixture in my gaming life, the same way Hearthstone was when Raynad first started development on the Bazaar 6 years ago. If you're interested in playing the Bazaar, you can gain access to the closed beta for you and a friend by purchasing a Founders Pack starting at $33. And if you'd rather not pay, the Bazaar will hold a free open beta in December, with the full release coming early next year.